Good morning, all you Trek fans. Join us as we dive into Star Trek Strange New World Season 3's latest episode, Terrarium. We explore the episode's theme, storytelling, and character moments that make it a must-watch or completely unnecessary, says Elliot. Plus, we'll share interview questions inspired by comments from fans and reviews, offering deeper insights into what makes Terrarium so compelling or not so compelling. Whether you're a hardcore Trek fan or new to the series, this episode recap and discussion will add new layers to your understanding. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Star Trek content. Join the discussion and share your thoughts. Hell yeah, today's title, Terrarium. What you got for us?
All right, Terrarium. Hey, Corey. So Terrarium, that's one of those little environments that are kind of set apart with a little glass in it. And, it looks all nice and neat and cutesy. Not so much in this episode as far as being cutesy. I'll wait until we get into the questions before I can see how I reneged on how I felt about this episode at first.
Well, let's get straight into it. How do you think Terrarium expands on the series' ongoing exploration of ethics and morality? And just to kind of help you out with that, wrestling between saving the life of one crew member against the lives of 4,000. What are your thoughts about that?
Okay, and so there were a couple of unethical pieces in here when it came to Terrarium, but as far as saving the many as opposed to sacrificing the one, we love Erica, and so of course the Ortega's fan in me was like, just go get her. The 4,000 colonists, y'all don't even know those people. Y'all don't know them, but y'all work with her every day. And so, realistically, they are duty bound. So I understand that. But they often deviate from the plan anyway, which is why I'm glad they did it. I'm glad that Uhura pushed them. And so I get it. You're duty bound. You're supposed to deliver for these 4,000 colonists that need this vaccine. And who's to say the vaccine's going to work anyway? That's me. But I'm going to always go there. We don't know.
Always.
We see that now. But I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to park that right there. So, yes, they put in a very, very hard situation. I was a little frustrated with number one, but I understood her position. Somebody has to be sensible. We can't always lead with emotion, but we're not going to sit up here and act like Erica's life is not important. Go get her. Because I don't think if Uhura would have pushed them, they would have just been like, I don't know. We'll just see. We have a rendezvous. We have that. So we got an appointment. That's all a rendezvous is. It's an appointment. So you got an appointment to go meet with some colonists for a vaccine that we don't know will work or not. And you're just going to leave Eric out here on this strange moon? Okay.
Corey?
I felt the exact same way. Like, I was like, what you talking about? Y'all questioning whether or not y'all going to get our girl. You just going to leave it there? To unknown tortures and horrors. We don't know you didn't know where she had ended up, and what she could be facing, or what discovery she had made that could be critical to the Federation. I mean, I was entirely upset with number one. I was like, you bald face. I called all kind of names. And but you're right, though. The thing is that they choose when and where to disobey orders and directives all the time. The truth of the matter is those 4,000 colonists could have waited, because they could have waited a day or a parsnick or whatever it's called. They could have waited a short period of time, because this was also equally important. And that crew at Enterprise would not have been the same without their crew member or them dying or something happening to them in a way in which they could have conceivably done something, and they chose not to do anything. Just my take.
Mm-hmm. So let's stay on that particular theme. What about the moment when Uhura reveals she lied on the data and Pike replied he knew and would basically save Ortegas regardless? What are your thoughts about that?
I am rebuilding with Pike. And when he said that, that made me...
When you like what he does, then you like him.
you know, the redemption has begun uh, from me just being done with him altogether. So I did appreciate that he allowed himself to be human, you know, in that moment, because Ortega's has literally gotten them in. I mean, out of so many situations when it comes to being the captain. I know I'm biased, so I'm just gonna push that to the side. We don't talk about Bruno. So I appreciated that he allowed Uhura to just be, I don't want to say faulty, but imperfect. I'm gonna say imperfect because she is just so buttoned up and just a rule follower all the time. And you know, the fact that this meant something to her, it should have meant just as much to everyone, quite honestly. Right. But I appreciated that he was like, okay, you know, you kind of, what do they call it, doctored up this data, but that's fine. I already know that you did it. I'm gonna let it go because honestly, I do things all the time that are not necessarily in the best interest of the whole group to go save my little scraggly Batil or whoever and whatever I want to do. So Ortega's is a major player when it comes to the Enterprise.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on the episode's portrayal of the crew's teamwork in high stakes situations? In this particular episode, we see Spock and Uhura working together to try to save Ortegas' life. What are your thoughts about that? Corey?
I think that, you know, I don't know if everything was being done that could have been done when I watched the episode. I kind of felt like certain people were being the heavy, right? Were taking on the majority of the responsibility for saving Ortegas. And I thought that was kind of odd for me in watching. You know, that's just not how I thought it would have went down, right? I think that's all I have to say about that.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it would have went down.
Well, I could agree with you. I think this is probably one of the episodes with the least amount of teamwork present. Simply because, like you said, you have Uhura and Spock working together. And of course, Spock is going to be Spock. He's going to be as logical as possible. But he did show up for Uhura, and I appreciated that. But where were all the hands on deck to ensure that we are doing every single thing that we can do to save Ortegas, that we're getting together, because we have these people that have these genius type minds to develop a plan other than the communications officer and Spock trying to figure it out basically by themselves. And so I didn't see a whole lot of teamwork, you know, again, to Corey's point, mostly just the two of them. Everybody else was just kind of like, you know, I didn't even see Mbinga in this episode at all. I don't recall seeing Chapel either. And so is Erica like some kind of second-rate citizen on the ship? Absolutely not. She is not. So where's all of this energy when we saving people that got a Gorn stuck up in there? What?
Which they haven't really resolved, by the way. I'll just leave that right there. They haven't resolved that. But okay.
So this is my, so this, there was only one thing that I did not like about this particular episode, and I know that this is probably going to upset you, Elia. It is the fact that Erica Ortegas is annoying to me. She is such an annoying character. I like her character, but when she starts thinking these thoughts out loud, these straight thoughts, it's kind of like, what? Huh? It's kind of like, why are you saying that? That's like a given. Like these are givens. Why are you saying that? You don't have to say this. You know, like I'm so used to Starfleet personnel just being like, I know what to do. I know what to do. I know what to do. But she lets her emotions, they come out unfiltered. And it's not that it's wrong. I don't think that it's wrong, but she just does it so much and she's so irritating. And so now I know why we didn't see all those other characters. I mean, we didn't see engineering. We didn't see anybody from engineering, right? Nobody. We saw no one. And yet this particular, in order for the Enterprise to save her, they needed engineers. You saw no engineers. So I know on the back end why we didn't see those 4 characters that we've already named. Well, 2 that you named and the 2 that I'm about to name. What's his name? Scotty and old girl that I love, Paleo.
Yeah.
we didn't see them because they were trying to save money on this particular episode because they had a Gorn, and it cost so much, and they had so many special effects in it. So that's the real of it. But to your point, like I didn't even consider what you both were just saying until just now. But I wonder if that's because her character is so annoying.
Damn. Because her character is so annoying. You know what? We're not even gonna waste time, money. Figured out was Spock.
Well, anyway, how does the concept of the terrarium symbolize larger themes in the episode? Oh, yeah, since you gave us the definition of terrarium, why don't you go?
So I'm not entirely certain if I'm going to tap dance. Yeah, I'm probably going to tap dance around the question. So as far as larger themes, a terrarium is seemingly like this kind of perfect kind of habitat or environment, if you will, that you can just gaze upon and just look at. You don't really have to bother it very much. And so I guess a larger theme of exploration would be the direction that I will go in for this, because this is an environment that's set aside or whatever. We don't really know much about it. Ortegas, I can't remember exactly why she was going out there to this strange moon or whatever it was. Can't remember why. But anyway, to me, it just kind of goes into exploration. And that's as much as I have to say about that.
Or
so, I didn't really get the title of the episode until like the closing scene sequence, right? When we saw that other, yeah, right. And then I was like, oh, I get it now. They're being watched like creatures, like a turtle or whatever in a glass terrarium. I had a moment. But I think it's really fitting that that's exactly what happened, right? They were basically being studied to see how their interactions could potentially change or be monitored or even controlled, it seems, by this other species that we had never seen before. I enjoyed that. That's one of the pieces of this episode that I did enjoy. I like the episode, by the way. There's just a few things here and there that I just kind of,
Is that not what humanity would do to other species?
Exactly.
Play around with play God and just, let's move the pieces around. Or is that not what we do already?
Yeah.
Or have done.
Yeah.
Or have done in the name of money, greed.
Yes.
And God.
Yeah. So good, great. In what ways does this episode develop the relationships between main characters, especially the new characters like Ortega and existing crew members like Spock and Uhura? All right. So in Trekdom, you have your TOS characters, Spock, Uhura, who are mainstays, and then we have new characters like Ortegas. And so basically, how does this particular episode develop the relationships between those characters?
So with Ortegas, I really think that I won't say they really developed a relationship because of what we said were some of the setbacks of this episode. I think that it kind of made you question the relationship that Ortegas has with the crew members. I don't know if that was if that was done on purpose, but I kind of did feel that way, and that could just be the way that we view things as Black entertainment watchers, right? We may see things a little bit differently. But it didn't do that development to the extent that I think that they maybe have wanted it to do from my perspective. But I will say it still showed that they can come together when need be in order to get some things done. But, I still feel like she is a third tier character on the show. Like they show her every now and again. They show her brother more frequently.
Hell yeah.
He just got to the party. I think it was more of a setback as opposed to a development, simply because of what happens in the end when La'an shows up. And so I feel like that's going to be kind of a slippery slope for that relationship in particular. And again, going back to what I said originally, just not feeling like the teamwork was really there, at least for how it was displayed on screen, to save her, whether she was annoying or whatever it is. We get it. You know, her voice to me, it sounds like it just belongs in voiceover for like one of those cartoons or animated Pixar things or something.
Like she's a little mouse or something.
Yeah.
That's character.
So I can see why that could be annoying. But yeah, I don't think the relationships developed as much. Maybe Uhura and Spock with that relationship towards saving her.
So let me tell you what I saw. This is what I saw. I saw that Uhura has a strong relationship with Ortegas, and no one else really does. I think it was because of the relationship that Spock has with Uhura that he decided to remain. I think Pike, he just wanted to save a crew member. It didn't matter what crew member it was. He was going to do whatever he could to save his crew member. And I think that everyone else was just responding to the situation based upon their role. All right. So, for instance, La'an, she's a security officer. She cares about the ship. She cares about the ship. So, you know, going in to help, that might potentially destroy the ship. So let's not do that. Who else? Even number one, her main responsibility is the crew. That's her main responsibility. We already have one crew member that's lost. We might lose more. We might lose the shuttles. We might lose whatever. Let's keep what we've got. And then also, as number one, she almost always has to provide the counter narrative. If everyone is saying this, her role always, as number one, is to give that counter narrative, because that's their role. All right. So I got all of that, but it was just like, man, she is missing a lot of friends on this crew.
Yes.
She really, really is. Now, I will say this. Nurse Chapel is someone that she's probably closer to than even Uhura. And the fact that she was nowhere in the scene, well, not the scene, but I mean the episode, that's disturbing. That is disturbing. All right. Do you all have any other thoughts?
I do. This kind of brings us to what I'm about to say. It's going to bring us to the overall direction of the show. It kind of, pieces of this episode made me feel like they were losing the plot. Just the show in general is losing the plot a little bit, right? Like the last episode, I could have just not.
We don't talk about.
I could have just not.
The Mayfair episode
at all. That was a Mayfair episode, which makes like the third Mayfair episode this season that they've had. I would have much rather them spend the time being more consistent in the story or the background stories or whatever that they're trying to establish with the Gorn and that development, as opposed to seeing some of these throwaway episodes. I don't give a flip about number one's relationship with that weird little man. I don't.
Hold up. Are you saying that this particular episode was a throwaway episode?
No, I'm kind of speaking of the last episode.
Last episode, gotcha.
Yeah, of how that was a throwaway episode, and I kind of feel like going into this episode, because of some of the decisions that were made, is kind of making it feel like they're losing the plot a little bit. That's basically my whole point, right? Like I feel like this episode is out of place. It should have been earlier, and there should have been the consequences that we would be seeing in the later episodes that led to some conclusion that changes the story of the show going into season 4.
So you're saying that if this episode were like episode 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 or whatever, then they could have built upon this episode versus some of the throwaway episodes that we've. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, like this almost should have been like the second episode, because they kind of almost ignored the whole Gorn situation going into after the initial, after everything happened. They kind of ignored what happened, right? Until you got a couple more episodes in, and then they're kind of addressing it, right? I kind of feel like the episodes are out of place in a way, and in a couple we could have not had.
Okay, gotcha. What do you believe the episode says about humanity's relationship with nature and technology? Oh yeah.
So to me, the relationship between humanity, nature, and technology was the question.
Yeah, nature and technology.
Um, so one is gonna always kind of outweigh the other for me, if that makes sense. And so you can have all of these technological advances. However, nature is unpredictable in a lot of ways. And so you can try to plan for all the things. You go in expecting one thing, boom, wormhole, oh God, it's shrinking. All the things that you can think of because you're human. And so there are certain things that you just cannot plan for. Even with, being God knows what star year in the future you are. You cannot, you can't supersede nature. You can make different what's the word that I'm looking for? I don't know. I'll just use the word workarounds. You can come up with workarounds or whatever, all that you want, to kind of help the situation. But when it comes to nature, we are ill equipped to ever just supersede nature. It's just that it's constant, it's ever changing. There are things that we're constantly finding. And so that's kind of what Erica finds herself in. Like, even with, she keeps saying the flashing light. Of course, now we know that's the Metrons or whomever who were watching. But anyway, you have this centipede thing that's popping out of nowhere, a tornado or whatever. There's so much going on. It's all the nature. And yeah, so nature's unpredictable.
It also makes me say that it also makes me wonder were the Metrons controlling the weather and other aspects of the planet as well, like the other creatures, like the centipedes that were there, and those aspects of all part of the terrarium as well. It kind of makes me want to know a little bit more about this race of people, and it brings up more questions than answers.
But that's okay. We're here for the questions too.
We're here for the questions. Look, it's no answers, but I have a whole bunch of questions regarding this interesting.
Well, what are your questions, Court? What are your questions?
So I guess I wonder, like, in the plot of the show, right? That's my theme today. In the plot of the show, how is this new race of people going to impact what we're consistently seeing, right? Are they going to be the next big bad or next thing that they're going to have to overcome or begin to work with, much like how the Gorn were kind of introduced in season 1? Is the story continued in season 2 and 3?
No. So okay, so in TOS, in the original show, we saw the Metrons. All right, okay. In conjunction with the Gorn. Believe it or not, the one and only time we ever saw the Gorn before Strange New Worlds, we saw it in that one episode. We saw both of those beings together, and basically they played the same role. They were like godlike creatures. They stopped the Gorn, and the Enterprise from attacking each other, and they said, okay, we'll take the captains from both ship and we'll put you on this new planet. We'll make you fight each other. Whoever wins, your crew will live, the other crew will die. So what Kirk did was he said, okay, so I won, but I want you to save this Gorn's life. And what happened was it made the Metron say, our original thoughts of you vis-a-vis this particular episode, our original thoughts of you are not correct. We need to rethink what we think about your race. So don't plan on seeing them again.
This was such a stronger storyline than some of the hijinks episodes. Like, yeah.
So Corey, you missed us last week. Like we went on a tirade, a rant, a screed, whatever you want to call it. Like we did not like that last episode.
It was horrible. It was garbage. It was hot, festering garbage. I was like, what is this?
We could have just taken this and been like some type of real. You didn't even have to make it a show. just, you know, something to just get chuckles out of the viewers, and just made it like a 2-minute reel of these people are becoming Vulcans. And you could have done something else if you just wanted to make fun of the Vulcans and have this kind of, you know, parody going on. That would have been totally fine. I would watch that on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. Awesome.
Mhm.
But you did not have to take up an hour of my time doing what y'all did.
The other thing too, I know we're not talking about that episode, but it's still related to the show, right? Is the way that they portrayed Vulcan was bad. It was bad. Oh, it was bad. It was bad.
So Corey, before you said you had lots of questions dealing with the Metron, what other questions?
That kind of answers my questions, really. It was such an interesting, and I forget sometimes where we are in the timeline of the show, right? And so certain things I'm like, ooh, I want to see more of that. Well, it was already addressed in the original, you know,
Okay.
Which kind of lets me believe that, or makes me hope that maybe they continue the show under the leadership of Kirk, right? And we get to see kind of a redo, if you will, of some of the earlier episodes of the show that, you know, we all know.
At this point, anything is possible. What I do know is that he was the captain of the Enterprise for a little while before we started seeing him in TOS. Were there any moments of plot twists that caught you off guard?
I was not expecting the caricature or the characterization of the Gorn. That was the most surprising, but also the best part of this episode. It really made the episode, combined with the fact that the realization from Ortegas that, you know, hey, this quote unquote creature also has a point of view, a reference point that we don't fully understand, that we need to understand as well. And then it pissed me off when La'an shot and killed her. So, but I get it. I get why, right? So I think that for me, that was like the best.
Oh yeah. Uh-oh.
It really,
it's coming. It's coming.
Initially, I kept falling asleep, and not because the episode was bad. I was like, oh God, where is this going? What is this going to be? But when I sat my behind still and actually watched it all the way through, I was like, okay. So what surprised me, first of all, was that I went back and actually watched it instead of just writing it off altogether. That's surprising. And then the effective communication, the use of technology to do so between Erica and the Gorn, to the point where I didn't pick up on it. I'm gonna just blame it on my neophyte lens, the amount of time that they were out there, but not knowing how much time was there, but time enough to bond and actually find a way to still entertain themselves. And so they're not even in the same species, but hey, I need to connect. I need to be able to laugh. I need to be able to play. I need to be understood. And so that surprised me how much I fell in love with the chess piece. Like, okay, it makes it in my human brain really relatable. Okay, so this person needs to be able to play. Hey, okay, well, you play chess. We're not in the same species. Here's a game that we play. Wait, did you carve this out of bone? So we're really getting to connect and know each other out here. And so I really appreciated that piece. It surprised me. It was very lighthearted, and you know, even though Ortegas is annoying, I liked that for them. I did.
You know what?
I would have liked even more if they were connected to what's the name?
La'an. Before she came out like Rambo.
You know, originally, when
Marie
talking about this particular episode, you all, well, at least Elia said that it was unnecessary. So I was expecting to hear the worst from Elia. I was expecting to go toe to toe. But this particular episode reminds me of so many different episodes in Star Trek's past. For instance, when Geordi was stranded on a planet, a moon, or whatever it was, and he was there with a Romulan. and the two of them had no reason to trust each other, and yet the two of them kept going back and forth. I'm in control, but they had to work together, so much so that Geordi like really truly lost his sight. But the Romulan couldn't walk, so they were leaning on each other, they were helping each other out, and that's what this particular episode reminded me of. And at that particular point in time, Geordi's character, like, he was there, but he was kind of like a B character. He was like a support character to the stronger characters on the show. And that's what this particular episode reminded me of. This was like an opportunity for Ortegas's character to blossom, to bloom. And that particular episode, the one that I'm talking about with Geordi and the Romulan, was one of the best episodes that the Next Generation ever had. And so that's why I feel that, this particular episode, it humanized, for lack of a better term, it humanized the Gorn. I mean, we saw the Gorn have a range of emotions. It was disappointed at one point. It was scared at another point. It was untrusting. It was trusting. It was all those different emotions. And we saw that from an enemy. So that enemy is really not unlike us. And then we learned that Gorn didn't want to die.
It had a gender. And it had a gender.
Right.
Like, when Eric was ready to give up, he stuck that big old arm or hand or whatever out. Like, it scared the shit out of me. But I appreciated it, though. So, yeah.
Well, I want Corey to answer this next question. How do you interpret the episode's ending, and what do you think it foreshadows for the series?
So I think that the ending is I think that was one of the best parts of the episode, combined with the relationship dynamics, right? What I think that it foreshadows is that we're going to be presented with even more opportunities for the characters themselves to confront some misconceptions that they have about some of the other species that they're interacting with. Right now, they're very, this is how they are, this is this, and everyone has their misconceptions or their preconceived notions based off of the war, etc., and all these other things that have happened in the past. But I think the show is going to start to challenge some of that. My hope is that these things are connected a little bit better, right? Like there is a better story with the Gorn here that could potentially, really make this show stand out. I know it's a kind of a prequel, but maybe there's a way that it could be done, right? Especially in relation to Marie or whatever, who was a throwaway character anyway. She doesn't exist in any other space but this one. So I think I'm getting her name right. Marie. Is that
Patel.
her name?
Captain Patel. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Captain Patel.
So and that's my hope, right? That's my big hope, that they don't lose the plot, right? That they don't really lose what we really love about Star Trek with some of the silliness, right?
Okay. Oh yeah.
I think it was kind of a good continuum of how we're seeing, as we come across these different species, that they're not as different from us as we think, and not be so quick to just, go for war. And not saying that's what Enterprise does, or what do you call it, Starfleet does all the time. But like we saw in the episode with Kirk, I didn't know that they were human before, and all of these. So the things that they're finding out on the back end, I feel like that's a good direction that they're headed in. Just that overall understanding. You would want to be understood. So instead of shooting first and asking questions later, there are other things at play here. And so I appreciated how this episode ended. It pissed me off, but not in like a bad way. Like, as a viewer, like, that's just good TV, right? Like, dang, y'all are really playing God. Y'all gonna erase her memory. She's not gonna remember that she even met the Metron. But hey, at least we're gonna leave you with your experience that you had with the Gorn, because we want to see where this is gonna go. So it's like, dang, y'all are playing with people's lives. I don't like that very much, but that's just great television. That's great.
It is great television.
And so I appreciated that.
You know what I hope that it does? What I hope that it does is that it leaves within the world of the Federation, it leaves people saying, maybe there's a way that we can deal with them diplomatically. Probably gonna take a whole lot. But if we could beat them, or if we could hold them off, we can have some type of dialogue. We can find out what you like to eat that's not humanoid and give it to you. You know what I'm saying? Something. What themes or questions from fans and reviews, if you've seen them, do you think the episode successfully addresses or missed? This is what I can say. A lot of people do not like the fact that they've had so many episodes that are so filled with antics. But this particular episode brought us back to what Star Trek really is. What are your thoughts about that?
I think we've all agreed, and I haven't even read the reviews, but I'm not surprised that that's in there. Like you said, the antics, the hijinks, the silliness, the parodies, there was a colossal waste of film. And so I think coming off the back of 4.5 Vulcans to this, I would think that some of the conversations are taking place similar to what we're having now. You could have saved all of that. You cannot save it, just not done it, and just give us more of this. Give us more of Star Trek. Give us the science. Give us those overarching themes of exploration, of developing relationships, diplomacy, like you mentioned. Those things. Give us that, not this.
Yep.
Corey?
Yep. I agree. I think that is what we love about Star Trek, right? And the interesting conundrums that the fleet is put in, right? And how it mimics society today, right? Like I could think of, so many other things that I would have loved to have seen, right?
Okay, let him Binga take his shirt off, like Spot take his shirt off. That's fine with those.
That's fine, but
keep the entertainment where it needs to be, and this is not Comedy Central. Let's not do that.
Yeah, it's just
tacky. It's just tacky.
That's not what we want. It's not.
Okay, Magic.
I think this season is worse than the last.
I love season 1 and season 2. Season 3 is a garbage fire.
I did. I like 1 and 2 as well.
I did too. I don't hate season 3. I like aspects of season 3. What I do not like is, we've mentioned it several times, there doesn't seem to be an overarching theme.
Okay. All right. So, final question. Most important question. Mayfair to 10. Oh, yeah.
Last week is gone forever. Never have to see it again. But last week was the first time I ever went Mayfair on a Strange New Worlds episode. Period.
And might I add, even on a Mayfair episode, she didn't rate it Mayfair.
Look, so for me, this episode is probably a 7.5. I did enjoy this episode quite a bit. After it took a little time for me to get into it, but once I sat there and watched, I was like, oh, okay. Because I was like, where is this going? What is happening? Erica's doing a voiceover. Now she's going to a planet. What's about to happen? I don't want to see this. And the funny thing is, I actually like Ortegas. I don't dislike her. That's the funny thing. But I'm like, because we are so accustomed to her, like kind of playing the background, not really being in the forefront, she got an episode now too. Okay, damn. What is this about to be? But I'm glad for what they did with it. So for me, it's about a 7.5.
Corey?
Yeah, I agree. Same.
Y'all
It's
doing
not
some
quite
Britney today.
it's
I
not
don't know how I feel about this. It's nothing but Britney.
Just saying.
it's not an 8 because of the things that I mentioned, but it's definitely more than a 7, right? So
Okay, so for me, I'll give it a 9, and I kind of told you why I would give it a 9. It reminded me of the best parts of Star Trek, where you're looking at a supposed enemy in the face, and you're having to put aside all of those past issues, mistrust, all of that, and you have to work together. And then along the way, you build a friendship. You realize that person is a whole lot like you. You're just fighting for what you know. And because you're fighting for what you know, that other person automatically becomes the bad guy when they're really not all that bad. We're just fighting because our superiors tell us that we have to fight. So that's why I love this particular episode. That's why I gave it a.
I mean, anything would seem like a 9 after episode 8.
I love your use of numbers instead of just saying.
You know, this has been going on for quite some time. Either I'm borderline genius or batshit crazy. I don't know. Goodness.
Any parting thoughts before our last episode premieres?
Please don't Mayfair us for the last episode. Please don't do it. And I know it's already done. I'm a little nervous. If I'm to be honest, I am a little bit nervous because I have invested in watching this season. I'm scared. I am absolutely scared.
Corey?
I am too, because I don't know what they could possibly talk about. Because in previous seasons, they were building towards something, and so you expect the final 2 episodes to be the conclusion to the arc of the story. Because we don't have that arc of the season, I have no idea what the final episode is going to be.
Interesting. It might be a totally different one. This is what I do want to tell everyone. We are going to come back, hopefully, in October. Another new show is coming out as part of the Anne Rice universe. Talamasca. Corey is scared. We have every right to be scared.
I'm terrified.
Because Mayfair was a mess. But Interview with a Vampire was not a mess. So
it was golden.
Oh yeah, what are your thoughts?
I am terrified. Huh?
I was trying to say it like low-key. I have an idea for us to cover the Talamasca before the show actually comes out.
Okay. We would love to hear that offline. I'm terrified for Talamasca. If I'm being honest, the trailer that I saw did not make me want to watch the show. And so the reason that I want to watch the show is because we have invested into this Anne Rice universe. And I enjoy talking all things Anne Rice. But the trailer that I saw, it didn't do it for me. If it wasn't for the prior knowledge, I would probably just kind of Tubi it. It'd be something that went straight to Tubi. I don't know what this is. And if I don't have anything else to watch because it has something to do with magic and vampires and witches, then I'll probably give it a go on one of those nights where I have nothing else to watch and I go down the Tubi rabbit hole. But I am terrified.
Corey?
I almost wish that the writers that did Interview with the Vampire would write each one of these shows, but they couldn't, because then they're not going to make the money that they're going to make by putting them out consecutively like this. That's kind of how it should have been, right? I don't know. The books have... I don't know if they have story, but do they have enough story to warrant their own show? Like, you really need the other species in the universe to make a Talamasca show work. And are we going to get that?
I don't know. A good part of the Talamasca. So one thing, we know that the Talamasca's world inhabits so many different other creatures than witches and vampires. It includes wolves. It includes, I don't know, you name it. It includes all of that. And they could throw all of those different things in one episode. and we just gotta like keep up. What I don't like is the fact that the actors and actresses visually are not appealing. I don't care for that. If you want me to watch something, I gotta like what I'm looking at.
Especially an Anne Rice interpretation.
Because they gotta be sexy. I gotta want to have sex with them. It doesn't matter. It don't matter. I gotta want to have sex with you.
That's a fair point. Very fair point. And maybe that's why I got lost in the trailer and just stopped listening because nothing was attractive. Storyline didn't seem attractive.
The little old woman that we kept seeing, I was like, who is this? What is this?
Like this, I don't know. I don't want to be catfished.
Here's the thing. I think that if they do incorporate the other supernatural creatures, I could really see an Anne Rice version of a show like Supernatural. That's what I hope it is. We'll see.
Okay. And that was a great show.
It was.
Supernatural was a great show. We'll see.
All right. Thank you all so very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share on all your social media. Until next time, live long and prosper, my loves. I had to throw that in. Yeah.